Oh my God. Okay.
Is that your real laugh?
What? Why would I have a fake laugh? Oh my God, who is that?
Why? What did you hear?
There's a thump.
Oh.
Do you have a pet?
No, I don't have a pet.
Oh my God, should we be concerned? Is there a break and enter happening?
Possibly.
Live on the pod?
All right, here we go.
Okay.
We'll deal with it in an hour.
Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto, wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto, wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto, like wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1203 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Electronic Products Recycling Association. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Ridley Funeral Home. Pillars of the community since 1921. And Canna Cabana. The lowest prices on cannabis. Guaranteed. Over 150 stores across the country. Learn more at cannacabana.com. Joining me today, making their Toronto Mike debut, is David Kochberg and Vanessa Vakharia from Goodnight Sunrise. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, now Vanessa can talk. Somebody let her know. Vanessa, how you doing?
Oh my God, so good. So excited.
Have you
to be
finished
here.
eating the peanut butter square you just put in?
I have not. It's here in case I need a little nibble in the middle of our interview. You got to have a snack all the time.
Is that a peanut butter chocolate mix there? That's a good combo. What's
Oh my
going
God,
on there?
it's our favorite
Is it?
combo as a band, right? Yes, David.
Speak for yourself here.
No,
okay?
that's not true. What if you had to pick one ice cream flavor? What would it be? Go.
That was not the question that was posed,
but it's kind of the question.
But yes, if it was an ice cream flavor I was selecting, then yes, peanut butter chocolate, obviously.
Told you.
And sure, in square, whatever. Hello, thanks for having us.
Hi.
Honestly, it's a pleasure. And although Vanessa said nice to meet you, I'm going to remind Vanessa of something that she could never remember this because it was such a brief moment in time.
God,
but
what?
I was at the where was I? I was at
Am I about to get canceled?
Sneaky D's. No, you're not getting. Could you? Can you get canceled?
We'll see. There's a lot of interview ahead.
Sneaky D's. I'm there. I was there with my buddies from Rusty. And you, Vanessa, and I, and FOTM Lee Beef Eckley took a photo together. Do you have any memory of this?
I
How could you?
100% remember that, but what I'd like to just back up on is, sorry, what was that nickname and why?
Oh, you don't know? Lee Eckley's nickname is Beef.
Why?
Wow.
So this is news to you? Okay, that's exciting to me.
This is great news.
Hi, Lee. Hi, Mom. Okay, wait, why?
He told me the story when he came over and we had a long talk. I believe this happened when he was at, I'm going to say Q107 or Chum FM. I think it was Chum FM. But I can't remember the origin of the story, like how he got the nickname Beef. But absolutely forever in the Toronto radio circles, Lee Eckley has been known as Beef.
Oh my God, huge reveal.
Well,
huge reveal on the pod.
Next time we talk to Lee, we will get the scoop.
Is this a call-in show? Can he call in right now?
I will phone him. He'll take my call. I love that guy. But anyways, I see him at Sneaky D's and we take that photo. I never saw that photo. Like, I don't know.
Where is
whose
it?
camera was it? Yours or Beef's?
It's definitely beef jerky Lee Eckley.
So are you thinking like there was a character named Beef in Porky's because he was well hung? Like this was a thing. Like is that you think that might be the origin of the term? I can't remember.
Literally, my mind did not even go close to that corner. To be honest, I thought it was potentially a food preference.
Oh, okay. Well, he does like meat lasagna. Do either of you enjoy lasagna? It's a real question. Like you can give me the truth. You
No,
don't
I'm
have to-
just kind of like, who in their right mind would answer no to this question? Like, of course.
All right. Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
lasagnas are delicious.
David's gluten-free. Big reveal number 2.
Okay, that's okay. That's gonna be shitty here because there's a lot of gluten in this lasagna. So.
I have made a pretty killer zucchini lasagna.
Like as the pasta, zucchini slices.
Yeah, thinly sliced to replace the
Okay,
pasta.
I'm sure there's many a gluten-free option at Palma Pasta, but the lasagna I have in my freezer, it sounds like that'll be for Vanessa here. But
Oh my God. Yes. Also, I'm half Italian. Everyone should know.
okay,
Palmas, what's up?
so they're the Petrucci family, straight out of Italy. So they make really authentic Italian food, and there is that for you. And also there's some fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Beer. Hey,
Wait, hold on. Sorry, you're giving us in a lasagna?
Yeah, like this box will be full when you leave.
Oh my God.
That's
this
real.
is the best news. Thank you.
So lasagna and again, I don't know if you drink beer, but there is fresh craft beer as well from Great Lakes.
This is a glutinous podcast sponsored
There's a
by
lot of
gluten.
gluten here. There's a lot of gluten here.
Yeah, but we do appreciate the kind gesture.
Thank you.
All right, let me see if I have something for Mr. Gluten-Free David here. Hold on. No, let me see. You talk amongst yourselves.
Well, what are you talk amongst ourselves?
Well,
Oh my God,
like
it's
if it gets to an emergency situation, we do still have 3/4 of a peanut butter square. If I
Wait,
just
what
suddenly
is that?
crash.
I'm
All right, this
actually
is
really
for-
scared. Is that
for
a weapon?
David Kochberg here, who can't have gluten. Okay, Ridley Funeral Home. This is a flashlight.
Oh my God,
for David.
what
Don't eat it
is
though. Okay, it's not
Can I
edible.
just say that when you said pillars of the community, I thought you
Yeah.
said killers of the community, and I was like, what is that slogan?
Well, that's how they keep in business. Keep creating clients. Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, don't blind yourself, David. But this is also a measuring tape
We
from
need that.
Ridley Funeral Home. You need that too.
That's-
So that's for you.
yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Great Lakes, for the beer that David can't have, and thank you, Palma Pasta, for the lasagna that David can't have. But Ridley Funeral Home did give David some takeaways.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Very, very practical.
It's
This
like
is-
we're at a trade show right now.
What this is? I've never seen a flashlight like this.
But think
it comes
about
in
how-
handy.
Well, that plus the measuring tape will be really good for loading. Like I feel like loading gear, right? Like we could do a whole like
Right.
thing
Yeah.
with that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the idea here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Vanessa, so much ground I want to cover with you guys. We don't have unlimited time, but I do want to talk about that most recent episode of Toronto Mic'd and how it, ties into what happened at City Hall, what's going on in Toronto City Hall. But I want to know about the Def Leppard t-shirt that Vanessa is wearing right now. Vanessa, are you really a Def Leppard fan, or is that meant to be ironic?
I'm so glad you asked. So I will tell you how I got this shirt. Okay, first of all, everyone should know I'm a huge Def Leppard fan. I still think one of the greatest love songs of all time is
Love Bites.
No, have you ever needed someone so bad? I used to like cry to that song so good. But I will say the reason I got this shirt for $7.99 is because it was on the rack at Forever 21, where for sure everyone shopping there is an imposter Def Leppard fan, and no one wanted it because all the kids were probably like, "What is this?" You know what I'm saying?
Is it velvet?
It's velvet.
What-
Uh-huh.
Okay, because I just noticed with the light reflecting
Yeah,
off
no.
it that is that's an amazing shirt.
You should know that I wear an item of velvet every day, just
You're
because
like George Costanza. Wasn't that what he liked velvet, right?
What did he?
David, right? Do you remember that?
I don't remember his
Is that my spirit animal,
Fashion
George
proclivities.
Costanza? Okay.
kind of.
I love hair metal. Like I love everything about Def Leppard. I love the hair. I love the music. I love the guitar licks. I love how high their voices are. I love the cheese of it all. Like it's
Right. Yeah, no, great. They had a couple of monster albums back to back, right? The Mutt Lang years or whatever. What was it? Hysteria was the last one, but Pyromania and Hysteria back to back were big 80s rock albums. Big,
they're staples.
hit laden.
It's one of those things too where you can always tell when it's a Def Leppard song because they all kind of sound the same realistically.
yeah.
But like, why fuck with a good thing? You know, if you have the formula, just keep.
That's what
pumping it up.
AC/DC does. Like they don't fuck with their formula.
That's what I don't want to talk smack on the pod, but that's right.
Talk smack. This pod is
Were
for
you about to
talking
talk smack about
David?
AC/DC?
No, not about AC/DC. I was about to be like, well, I'm not going to say, but I'm like,
Well, yeah, most successful bands build success on a pattern.
No, he's right. Led Zeppelin always sounds like Led Zeppelin, right? You can say, oh, that's even the Stones. They have a
well,
sound, right?
And what
They
I
have a
was
sound.
going to say, and I just want everyone to know I'm a fan, but I'm going to say is basically like country music as a whole. right? Like it
All of
is
it. Oh.
all of it.
Right,
All
there's
of
a
it.
there's that guitar, steel guitar thing, and there's like a twang.
There's a twang, steel guitar
Right.
thing, chord percussion, whiskey, trucks, women. You know what it is.
Right.
Well, I don't know that you can
Tears in the beers.
generalize any genre like that.
Of course you can, and it's horrible
Or
to generalize.
band.
No, I'm really apologize, actually.
What happened to your comma? I'm just gonna go for it
Oh
right off
my
the top.
God! Finally, someone's noticed.
Well, it's gone, and I know it was there, and I want the true story of where the Goodnight Sunrise.
Do you know where it
went.
is? It's on Amazon because they haven't
How much
removed
is
it yet.
Oh, it's on Amazon. Come on, David. You must. I need the real talk.
David,
Either
go.
or.
No.
I don't mean to.
This is David.
Yeah. No, David's got a nice mustache.
David,
What does that have to do with
that
anything?
is the comma of our band. It has
yeah,
gone on
that's
his
where it
upward
went.
limb.
It
Is the
metamorphosized.
comma hiding in your mustache?
The comma was like a little caterpillar that when we started the band cocooned itself, and then finally it turned into the butterfly.
But why?
That is-
No, real talk here.
David.
So you did have a comma. It was Goodnight, comma Sunrise.
And say it with the comma. How would you say our band name with the comma?
Goodnight Sunrise.
And now how would
It's
you
like Goodnight Moon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that the name origin?
No.
Vanessa's okay. I love that.
But
book,
sure, it's a
Goodnight
classic.
Moon. Yeah.
But yeah, so now you would just probably say, like, if you don't see a comma in there, you would probably change the inflection with which you.
Goodnight Sunrise.
Yeah, see?
Ha.
So it does have kind of a different meaning. So yeah, initially, because we were so pretentious and cool, we were like, we're gonna have a comma in our name because it's so artsy, and
Right.
it really and yeah, there were times where
It's
we
like
were
when
like
Motley Crue does the umlaut.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, so we were like a
Right.
way less cool for punctuation addition to
But
this.
very similar to Motley Crue in ethos.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Unnecessary
she says
punctuation.
as she takes a bite
Okay.
of her peanut butter square.
Okay. So when I need the origin, like the band. Well,
Fine,
it's like
so-
a superhero
sure.
origin
Okay,
story.
okay, this is a good. Well, this is.
And we'll get to John Tory later.
David, spit it out.
Well, do okay.
Actually,
yeah,
me
I mean,
and
I
Mike
did
will
see.
not stop talking, so you actually have not been able to get a word in.
Yeah,
You both sound great, by the way. You
Thank
you
you.
should do something together.
like okay. Well, yeah, because we
David,
get a lot of
tell a
time on our
story.
hands. I'm trying. Everyone's interrupting me. This is my life. Okay. Well, I was trying to say, and this has nothing to do with John Tory. It has everything to do with Toronto because many years ago, when we were starting the band, and then we were, as every band does, argues about what the band name should be and comes up with all sorts of dumb name options. We were out. I think it was during Canadian Music Week, and this is like over 10 years ago now. And so we were out seeing shows just as fans, and then we had just started the band, and we were checking out showcases until like 4 or 5 in the morning, as one does during CMW.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, I don't know. There's arguments because Vanessa likes to kind of do a little revisionist history on our stories from time to time, but I maintain that I ended up going to Franz, a classic, of course,
Why didn't you
24-hour.
invite me?
Just, I don't know. I think, I'm just probably.
Okay,
I
needed
don't
space.
know.
You
Why you
needed
gotta
space.
make it
Okay,
about
David's
you?
at France.
So I'm at
France is great.
Had a great, and then I'm walking home as the sun is coming up. This was, and then at the time, going to bed as the sun is coming up, and then I went onto Facebook, and I typed out "Goodnight, sunrise,"
Oh my God.
which was just a factual statement.
Right. You were saying goodnight to the sunrise.
Precisely, and I didn't think too much of it aside from basking in my own brilliance. But that's just was
Well,
just
it
a
is good
normal
line.
night.
Like you should.
Thanks.
Bask
So
a
then
little.
I woke up the next morning and I noticed that my bandmates had commented under this eloquent status possible band name, and then further below there was a series of agreeing statements, and so then we
That was
decided
it.
that was it. So then we made that our band name, but then for forever after, it was just then, especially as like things became completely digital for bands, then having punctuation in your band name became just a total pain in the butt.
Because you can't put a comma in a domain name.
Well, and also on CBC, we would show up as sunrise, goodnight. Like it was like first name, last name. Like all of this shit started happening.
Yeah, like if we're on a festival, then it's like
we're two different bands. Like
I see it now because they pump it into the system and it's a CMS and it's literally it takes like sunrise as your surname maybe.
exactly.
And then,
and a festival poster, or like when
Right.
Facebook events were a thing, it would always look like we were two
Yeah,
different
it's
bands.
like
I was so
Goodnight.
mad.
Do you remember what
Sunrise.
calendar year the comma
Yes.
rest in peace went to Ridley Funeral Home?
We the killers of the community.
Since 1921, so
Yeah.
they've been at it a long time. So
We have a TikTok commemorating it. I made a TikTok about it when I took it off of my keytar because it's bedazzled
Oh, right,
on the
yeah.
keytar. But it was recent. It was 2020.
It was just last year, or 2020, or
that's
2021.
a recent death.
But
I
by
think
the
that-
way, it
I think
took-
2021 because when we were finally,
That's 10 years after you started Goodnight
yeah,
Sunrise.
yeah.
Oh my god, you did your.
I did a lot of research because I want to ask you about the big deal. Like, what's the deal with the big
my
deal?
god. Silence.
Yes.
You can go ahead.
It was the band where me and David met, and basically we met in this band. How it started is I walked up to these guys when I was super drunk at a bar, and I was like, oh my god, you'd be so much better with a female singer, and I totally forgot about it. And then the next day they were like, do you want to come jam with us? And I was like, what does jamming mean? Anyways, then I ended up in that band because they were like, we're brothers, we don't want to sing, now we need a drummer. Then we went on Craigslist and we found David because Craigslist was the thing. David ended up in the band. We were in that band for a year. The band broke up because they kicked David out of it because they didn't think he was a good drummer, and then I felt
And he was
super bad.
gluten. He couldn't have gluten. They said that's no fun for pizza night.
I think I was. I don't think I was gluten free.
He wasn't gluten free yet.
Is it gluten free because you're celiac, or is it a health like a something else? Going on?
Not
Is it private? You can tell me if it's private.
I don't really
You
care.
should eat a piece of bread and then show him your stomach.
Give me that lasagna. Give me that
What happened?
lasagna.
What would happen if you had a slice of this palma pasta lasagna?
Well, I mean, it's hard to predict
You'd be
because like,
nauseous. What would happen? You'd be.
I
sick?
mean, I'd probably like maybe like in an hour or two, I would have some like stomach cramps, and then
That's not good.
and then maybe like over the next day, like maybe I'll get some headaches, and then and maybe I'll just and probably just get more cranky than I normally am.
You don't seem cranky to me. Okay, so the
Not
big deal
yet.
breaks up because they kick out David or whatever. So you two are in. You guys meet in the big deal.
Yeah, we met in the big deal. We had no idea what we were doing.
Neither of us had been in a band
No.
before.
We didn't know what was up. We
I
were just,
played drums.
yeah. And I just sang, and I was like, but because these brothers were kind of like, you know what, you guys, like, we're cool with you writing the songs and like whatever. We learned everything. We wrote the songs together. We booked. I did all the show booking. We learned everything in that band.
Yeah, we ended up becoming the band managers essentially, and and then also because like I had also played guitar casually for a long time and had like tried to write songs. So this was an opportunity to actually collaborate and then try to like really write songs. So yeah, we ended up building all of these skills and doing all of this stuff together and becoming friends.
Smart.
And then so when the band broke up, then after getting over that crushing.
It was crushing. Honestly, it was.
Well, it was pretty rough, but whatever. We made it through that and decided that we wanted to still be creative together and try making a band.
So like it's a real band. Like it wasn't just like you two plus some musical performers that
The
would
Big
join
Deal?
you on stage. No. Goodnight Sunrise. Like the name. It's a real like who's in this band?
When
at
we
the beginning?
wait, sorry, like you mean to this day? Or we just
No, like at the beginning.
At
like,
any point
in
over the
2011,
last
when
no,
we started
decade
it,
plus,
let
have you
me tell
been a
you-
real band?
Let me tell you.
that's
when-
not what I'm saying.
That is a question we ask ourselves
Well,
every day. So.
every day. When we started the band, actually, it was a full band. It was us. It was.
That's what I mean,
It was
yeah.
Chowder, who is the bassist from Glue Leg. Somehow we got like hooked up with him.
Hey, I like Glue Leg. Sure.
Yeah, like you know,
Yeah, he was great.
he was awesome. And then we
Chowder.
had,
It's Chowder.
Exactly.
yeah, Chowder.
We
had a drummer,
we had initial drummer for a couple shows, but then
but then he was always late.
No, you're thinking of me.
Who was the drummer? That you're
The
referring
original?
What's
Yeah, Quincy. It was his name.
to? Okay.
You still see him around.
We knew him. So we got started in the whole Rancho scene, the Rancho Relaxo scene, R.I.P. And so he was in another band, and we just had become friends.
He
and then
was,
he was in. I can't remember what the name of the band was, but that's how we met him.
but he was only there for a bit, and then we
Yeah, I
got
think as we were like, we played a couple shows, and we're like, oh, this is awesome. We want to really keep doing this more and more. And then he got overwhelmed and was like, I actually don't.
But then we found our real drummer off of, you guessed it, Craigslist.
Right.
That's true, actually.
And he was our drummer for like 5 years.
And name
Yeah.
check him.
Paul Weaver.
Paul Weaver. Okay. So there's four of you. You're happening thing, lots going on. Oh, by the way, I did load up some jams, but I don't have any sense of the chronological order.
Oh my
of them.
God, what are you going to play? No, you have to ask our permission first.
Do I? Can I? Okay.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, I want consensus here. Could I play a little bit of from the video Deal With It?
Why?
I
Why?
don't have to. It's your music. Like, I'm not going to do it if it makes you uncomfortable.
Like, you can't. No, it's like there. It's public domain. It's just I'm wondering why.
Well, I would play a
Maybe
little
to
bit.
show the
listeners
progression.
can hear a little bit.
Sure.
Because he's
of you.
interviewing us about the history of our band, I think is
Okay.
the
What do you
why.
mean, why? Like, it's not like I'm playing Def Leppard, right? Like, what do you
Let's
mean,
recall
why?
this is old. This is a.
Yeah,
Are you
see, now just
Vanessa
make-
from Goodnight Sunrise? Yes or not? You know, like, okay, so I'll put it down low then. And then so I don't want to make you uncomfortable, or whatever, because this is literally ripped from the video here, but which I think you're hosting on your like official YouTube channel. So, you know,
I mean, I can explain Vanessa's reaction.
okay, let's hear a bit of it, then we'll talk about it.
Deal with it.
Oh, now you're getting into it.
Oh my gosh.
Deal with it. I'm going renegade. I'll hang that noose around your neck just like an accolade. Deal with it.
Oh my god.
Okay, it's coming down. It's coming down. Talk to me about. Firstly, I want to know why you have this reaction, and then talk to me about this jam.
Like, do you want to go? Like, I just keep thinking of that line. I am a calculator, and I think this is.
The reaction I would sum up is that Vanessa is a lot more easily embarrassed by our previous work compared to our more recent
It's
work.
not embarrassed.
Look
We
at
all
your
gotta start
face. Look at your
somewhere.
face right now.
Yeah, it's not embarrassed. It's like, first of all, it's always cringy to listen to yourself sing. Okay, so like always, no matter what.
True, yeah. Even
Like, no matter what.
even our current stuff.
Even our current stuff, I'm like, oh, if someone's like, play it right now, I'm like, I don't want to like watch you listening to me sing, like, you know what I mean, like right now.
Right.
But to listen to the past, I mean, I hope I can say we've come so far. Like, all I hear, because I'm working with a vocal coach right now, all I can hear are all my like horrible vocal habits. Like, I'm like, oh, like, why do I have an accent? What accent?
Well, you know,
is
there
that?
are like there's professional broadcasters who can't listen back to themselves on tape. Like, I work with a couple of these guys. Like, they can't hear themselves back, and I'm like, what? Like, you expect everybody to listen to this stuff, but you can't listen yourself. Like, but this is you a decade ago.
This is from our second album, which we, I guess, recorded in like 2015,
Okay,
2016.
well, still, yeah, 8 years ago or so.
So
yeah.
That's
like
a
a long
long
time.
time ago. That's like
Yeah.
5 vocal teachers.
And we kind of produced it ourselves. So yeah, like if we want to make us cringe even more, you can play a song from our first album
Don't
from
do
2013.
it.
But like I'm at peace with it because
yes, I'm at
because connecting it to the origins of the band, like when we started out. Okay, yeah, this is better. So when we started out, we didn't know what we were doing. Like, we had never written songs or been in a band before. And so we just have been making it up ever since. And it took us like a lot of years to start to get really good and confident.
I guess also too, like, I wonder what your thoughts are on this. We've seen, like, I wouldn't do this, but I've
Wait,
seen.
here, let the drop go.
Remember
now. This is the song that got us chosen to open for Bon Jovi. It was this song. So this has a soft place in our heart.
It does.
Okay, let's give it a moment here. You can sing along if you want.
even in the distance, even in the morning light, even in forgiveness, even when we lose the fight, even in the
This is a good song.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
But we were in a huge fight when we recorded this.
Not when we recorded. Well,
Yeah.
probably at all points of the process.
Well, let's hear it. I know some time has elapsed here, so here we are. I guess this is what, 20? Is this 2018?
2018.
Okay, what's that story about the fighting? There's some in-band
What's this?
fighting going on here, and then I need to know how this gets you to open for Bon Jovi at the Air Canada Centre. Like, I need that whole thing.
Yeah, like, first of all, we're usually in a fight, so this isn't
Yeah.
like news, and I don't even know what we were in a fight
You
about.
too?
Yeah, we're always in a fight.
Yeah, we
kinda.
were kind of in a fight on the way over here.
Yeah, we were. We got in a fight on the way over.
But like a loving fight,
Well, I
or
thought
like
he was
a,
mad at me and he wouldn't say no. And then he was like, sometimes I'm mad, but not at you. And then I'm like, well, then why can't you just say no when I ask you? Like, that seems like a pretty basic thing to do. But he's like, no, it's more complicated, right? It's always more complicated. La, 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 la. Anyway, so I think but I actually think when we recorded this, we were breaking up. Didn't we break up right before this?
Yeah, it was connected.
We were dating and then we broke up. And I think it was right around this song. So when we...
Okay, whoa. So when does this become romantic? This partnership, like,
Yeah, what year was it?
Oh my God, if you don't remember.
But is it in the big? It's not the big D. Is it in the big deal? No, it's in Goodnight Sunrise.
It's like halfway through Goodnight Sunrise.
Yeah, like we had started Goodnight Sunrise and then had become best friends, and then like years into it, we're like, oh,
like
well,
2014.
maybe.
I feel 2014 because we broke up 2018, didn't we?
That checks out.
So we dated for 4 years. Didn't work out.
But you broke up around the time of recording this song.
I mean, this song did come near the end of our relationship, I think, and like I think the lyrics. Yeah, like I think you were just kind of playing around at the piano.
We were dating when I wrote the lyrics, but we were in some other fight.
Yeah, okay.
So we wrote.
I actually dig your dynamic. Like you two need a podcast. That's what I'm saying here. Please continue.
That's going to start a new fight because we're going to be like, because then Vanessa's going to be like, see, let's do it. And then I'm going to be like, I don't have enough time.
No. Okay. Anyway, so the point is, so fine. So we write
But
the
I
thing.
do think we could do a good job.
Okay, who cares? We want, okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who cares about anything?
Well,
Nothing matters.
We like
right?
I
True.
say that all the time.
True.
But because nothing
Technically.
matters.
Nothing matters.
All this bullshit. Like we're going to talk about
accidents.
fucking this great music and this bullshit and Bon Jovi and Air Canada Center and John Tory and the City Hall staffer who now
Right.
works at MLSE.
What?
And none of it matters.
None of it matters. We're all specks on the planet. It's an accident that we're even alive, and then we're all going to die. I totally agree. But now,
And these unidentified flying objects, and nobody will tell me what they were. You know this? They're shooting.
I
over the
actually
Yukon.
did. Somebody
like
I saw in Collingwood actually, then on the Collingwood group thing was talking about like a UFO over Georgian Bay, and there's like 50 comments, and some of them
Well,
are
I don't know
like,
about that one, but over
Oh.
in the Yukon, which is like I think there's one that was just shot down over the Yukon.
was there a person in it?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
No, that would be a whole different thing. But like a cylinder, and they're like, I think maybe they're looking for it or whatever. But like and there's been others shot down. America shot one down recently, and I would just like to know what these are. You know, I
Do you
know
have a
that the
theory?
balloon is one thing. These are not balloons.
So what do you think it is?
I don't think they're from another planet, but I still would like to know what they are.
But do you have any theories?
no,
You don't
Do
have
you?
No, this is the first time you've been hearing about it.
You got to listen to CBC News. Come on, this is a big thing going on here. Okay, so
I can't listen to the
yeah.
news. Okay. Okay, so find the song. Remember now.
Right.
Okay, so we do the song, whatever. There's a bunch of fights. Who cares? The song gets
who
recorded.
cares about the song? There's unidentified flying objects being shot down. Okay, tell me about the song.
I would say it's when we release that song, it is like for sure one of the best songs we've ever written. It's produced really well by this guy named Derek Hoffman, who's awesome. He did such a good job, and it was like a new step for us. Fine, cool. Who cares? Meanwhile, in the background, David has secretly applied for us to open for Bon Jovi because Bon Jovi, being the cute little Italian mensch that he is on his tour,
Right.
always gets a local band to open for him to give them the break that he got when he was younger. How cute. Let's have
This is a Q107 contest?
You got
yes.
it, yeah.
Yes. David doesn't tell me about it really. Okay.
Okay, that's a good move, I think. Like, this is a surprise.
Yeah, every now and then
we're opening for Bon Jovi.
I'm sneaky because like I know her excitement levels are, as you could tell, they swing wildly, and then also and then I also have learned that like if I don't want her to prematurely be too excited, I gotta be
You get
careful
her.
when I tell her.
He gets
See?
he gets you. I don't know
gets
why that is. So since 2018, you haven't been romantic?
Ew, no. We're like
What's
fully.
that? Ew.
Yeah, kind of. Like we're like we've moved. You know, when you're like we are like fully in sibling territory, like full.
Okay, but you were lovers. No, like
so gross.
that's not personal. You
No, but
just
that's
say you're a
long
couple.
It's fine. It's true, but that is so in the past. Like you know, like your head's like
David,
out-
what do you think of that reaction though? She's gagging, thinking of being romantic with you.
It's pretty hilarious.
David, wouldn't you gag?
Valentine's Day is
Well, I
tomorrow.
didn't gag.
I keep trying to get him to celebrate Valentine's
Wait, do you have
Day
other?
with me.
Do you have other people that you're with right now?
No. No.
You're both single.
Well, yes, we are both single.
But you have no interest in each other romantically.
Ew. Sorry, I
But it
don't.
wasn't always you.
We
No.
are but we like are that the whole point is that we argue way too much to have a functional relationship, but we argue enough to have a functional band.
I mean,
and
you
friendship.
think it's gross when you think about like us making out.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not going to get all roped into a little gotcha interview here.
Now I have my lead. Okay.
Oh my god! When you have an ex, though, right? Like I think it's actually quite normal to look. Like I actually look back on some of my exes, and I'm like, ew. Like not like
but you don't typically with an ex, you break up and then you go on with your life. You don't
Sure.
have this partnership you guys have.
Right.
No, it's for sure not. And we made a very conscious decision to figure out how to make it work largely. And I mean,
for the kids.
it is crazy. Like, I mean, for sure, like all of our friends think that have always thought we are crazy for doing it, but I think it has paid off where we have made it work and like really we're very important in each other's lives.
Oh my
but
god,
we are not
cute.
well, whatever. But we're not but we are not don't like
Right.
rely on each other romantically.
Right.
We
But
actually
we-
lived together for 2 years during the pandemic,
That's true. That is
which is crazy. We never lived together as a couple.
no.
That would have not gone well.
No. And yeah.
I find you guys fascinating. Okay, so
So
are
Bon
you-
Jovi, wait, let's get to it.
but,
Let me.
but
okay,
before
yeah.
are you a couple when you're on stage at the Air Canada Center, or have you
No.
broken
No,
up?
I think
No.
this was like a year. Yeah, I think we broke
in 2017.
We had broken up, and then I think, and like we had, so our drummer Paul, because for a long time, like we had
yeah.
been between bassists for a number of years, and then so it was down. There was a few years where it was like functionally just a 3-piece, and then we would hire a bassist. So
Right.
then we told Paul that we were breaking up, but we were like, "Don't worry, we're gonna keep the band going." And we thought he was gonna be so upset, and then he was like, "Okay, no problem." And then it turned out that like a year
Then,
later,
just wait for it.
I think he started to have other life priorities. So then we wanted to push the band further, and then he was like, I just can't. I don't think I can do that anymore. So then he left, and then we were like, well, now we're really fucked because now we don't have a whole rhythm section. Now we got to start hiring people. But then when we got the Bon Jovi thing,
Wait, let me tell them how we get it though.
Oh yeah, I want to
yeah,
hear
sure.
this.
So listen to what happens. No, but your point is good too. But I just want to say, because this is the chronology, is we've just played, it's CMW, and we've just played our biggest show to date, which is opening for Matt and Kim at the Phoenix, and we're like riding a high. We're like, this is so fucking awesome, whatever. We get up the next morning. I slept over on David's couch. Don't worry, audience. Okay, we go.
Thank goodness.
We go to
'Cause
get.
that's ooh.
We go to get our coffee the next morning, and we're in the coffee shop. We're in, what's it called?
Almond Butterfly.
We're at Almond Butterfly.
One of the top gluten-free bakeries in the city.
And we're there, and it's
Maybe that's who we should get to sponsor when we start our podcast.
Oh my god, we should.
get
Yes, Almond Butterfly. Okay, but then listen, the killers of the community don't kill, but not. Okay, never mind. Who cares? Okay, so we're there. We're standing there. It's 8 a.m. People are getting ready for work, and
Yeah.
David's like, fucking David never has his ringer on his phone. Okay, you need to know this about him. He never picks up his fucking phone. So we're in line, and he's like, I have a voicemail. 1 second, he's like, oh my god, and I'm like, what? He's like, it's Q107. They're saying we're one of the top 3 finalists for Bon Jovi. I lose my mind. I'm like screaming at the
But
top
at
of my
this
lungs.
point, you don't know that he entered you, right?
Well, he had like
Oh,
kind
he
of
had leaked it
mentioned
out
it
a
at
bit.
some
I
point,
had
but like,
told you, there was there was an initial call that was like, you've made sort of the finals, but then
Wow.
anyway, so we're freaking out and losing our mind. And I'm like,
Right.
David, I'm like, why the fuck was your ringer not on? I'm like, we need to call them back right now. And he's like, oh my god, relax. So we call them back and we leave this message and we're like, we just want you to know we're so excited. La, la, la. Like, we hope it's us. Fine. Okay, that's the end of that. We leave. We get chosen. And then the best part is we get to call our drummer, Paul, who's left the band like 2 weeks ago. And we're like, do you have time because we were opening in 3 days. They were like, you're opening for Bon Jovi in 3 days.
Yes,
And
you're doing this on May 12th.
on Mother's Day.
2018. Okay,
Yes.
that was Mother's Day.
And we're
Okay.
like, so
we
I'm
just
like,
started it like when we found out that they actually picked us, then we just went into a complete panic and we couldn't
freaked.
think. And then we were like, what do we have to do we have no idea how to actually pull this off. Like, how do we play an
Wow.
arena? So then we just like
Yeah.
went into a panic, and then I
Yeah, we
think
went into a panic.
because like we hadn't played with Paul for a long time, so like we had been playing with one session player for a few shows. Yeah, so we had played with one guy who had played the Phoenix show with us, but then we ended up like talking to Paul, and then
and then
we
he
were
thought
like,
we were pranking him. I was like, what are you doing
yeah, and then we
Saturday?
were like, well, I guess, yeah, obviously it should be.
Well, that would be a good prank, actually. Yeah, I would think so too. Do you remember who left the voicemail from Q107? Like, was it one of their on-air jocks?
No.
Was it like
I think
administrative person? Or?
I think it was like a production manager.
Okay.
But
I
we
just
ended
wonder,
up
like,
going
if this
in.
story's like, John Derringer left us a voicemail.
No. He was not involved in the story.
You were going to say thank goodness.
Why is
in
there
real-
tea?
He wouldn't yell at you. Your talent, that's different. Okay.
I guess in light of recent events,
What
there's been some
recent
news.
events?
Remember,
about,
she doesn't know any news, so we have
That's
to.
true.
Yeah,
She
I don't
doesn't
know what
really.
you're
But
talking.
do you know about the John Tory thing?
Well, of course.
Okay, because the Derringer thing was just as big, I think.
It was.
Well, in certain,
yeah.
We'll educate her
I think
later.
that that he was a total jerk in the workplace.
Yeah, they parted ways because a number of women came forward to say that he was like verbally abusive and like an asshat.
I would love to act surprised. However,
have you ever met John Derringer?
No, I'm just like, in general, I feel like this is a theme that keeps popping up.
Men behaving badly?
Yes.
That's my reaction.
So they said they're or
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, like, I mean,
Over it.
Okay,
over
well,
it.
tell me about this night, May 12th. This is Mother's Day in 2018. You guys are playing the Air Canada Centre, opening for Bon Jovi. That's fucking wild.
Our mothers were in the audience.
Our mothers are there.
As were our fathers.
Well, mothers love Bon Jovi.
love.
I'm trying to think how my mom actually feels about Bon Jovi.
Or your mom was like, the sound of the ACC isn't very good. That was the best part.
See, I don't like Bon Jovi, but I liked them in 1987.
How?
I know. In 87, I had Slippery When Wet on cassette. And I loved Slippery When Wet on cassette. But for some reason, something between 87 when I loved them in like, I don't know, Bad Medicine or something around that period where I started to passionately dislike their sound and Bon Jovi. I don't know. I'm just telling you, I don't like Bon Jovi, but I like Goodnight Sunrise. But okay. So at this time, you guys,
I don't know if I can continue this interview.
you guys, the comma, you're all, and
Right,
Paul
the
Weaver.
comma. Yeah.
You're all at the Air Canada Centre. Give me a little taste of like, how did that night go? How was your performance at the ACC?
Okay, well, the first thing you should know is Bon Jovi,
We'll get a little closer.
true to form, Bon Jovi came out before our set and gave us a pep talk. Like, he gave us a
what did he
full
say?
pep talk. He said,
I was so stressed though because we had been waiting for like half an hour because the production person was like, okay, John's ready to see you,
Oh, yeah.
and then I'm always so stressed before a show,
Right.
And so then she guides us through the hallway, and then she's like, okay, wait here, then
my
John's gonna
God.
come out,
and time was
And
really
then-
ticking.
Yeah, and it's like 45 minutes before our set, and like I always have to like I gotta go
has to
pee before the
pee.
show, so then I'm like standing
That's
out
an
there.
anxiety pee.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. And there's probably like a false one. Like there's one, then you probably have to go again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
that's
least.
common, I think.
You
the
know
anxiety
that.
pee.
So then we're standing out there waiting for John to come out, and it's like half an hour that we're standing
We
there,
were.
just getting more and more stressed and having to pee more and
I
more
was
and more.
so stressed. Like, I was like, I've never been more nervous like in my life. Like, I was like just the feeling like I'm reliving it now, and it's so physically
You look
uncomfortable.
really stressed right
yeah,
now,
like I was
actually.
like, oh my god, like all the things
Well, I
like
have a special surprise for you. John, come down.
Oh my
John Bon
God.
Jovi, everybody.
Also,
So-
there's his bathroom around the corner, so we're okay.
Also, I had made him a care package. So I made him like this like package, and there was all like, we're like a very glittery band, so there's all this glitter. And when he finally showed up, I was like, oh my god, here. And he was like, whoa. He was like, my wife's gonna have a lot of questions if I show up with glitter all over.
He's a
me."
handsome man, isn't he?
He's so handsome.
Oh God, you have
But
no
just-
idea.
He's also such a great guy. Like, he gave us his pep talk. He's like, listen, guys, he was
Okay.
like, do you want to know why your set is only 20 minutes? And we were like, sure. And he's like, because back in the day when I got my big break and we opened for ZZ Top, our set was 30 minutes, but we were so nervous. We played the whole thing in 20 minutes.
Interesting.
They didn't
so he's
have
looking
a
out for
click
you.
back then, is what I was getting from that.
But you know, Bon Jovi, the band, is a company owned by John Bon Jovi, and everyone who plays in the band is an employee that he pays a salary to. Like, that's not a band.
Really?
He is like president and CEO of Bon Jovi Inc. And then he hires people to be sort of like when you guys need like a drummer or
I
whatever.
guess we
for your
kind
concert.
of are like that.
Yeah, but at least you are co-own.
We don't
Yeah.
pay anyone a
Sunrise.
salary, that's for sure.
But I mean, it is his name.
Well,
That
anyways,
the
Okay,
band
so when you
is
need
his
your
name.
drummer, because you're going to play, let's say you're going to play Sneaky D's and you need a drummer, does the drummer get paid?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, so you do pay. I'm saying
okay,
you do.
yeah.
I'm just contradicting what you said.
Oh,
there.
okay,
She
right,
looks
right.
angry at me.
Well,
Is that
also-
what you have to?
Also, we always
David?
need a drummer. So if you know any drummers,
We always need a drummer. Okay, but also Phil X too came in the middle of our band handshake. We're doing our band handshake, and he comes up.
yeah,
and
he was backstage in the little.
Is he like he's Canadian, right? Is he
Yeah, he's
Canadian?
from like Mississauga or
Right.
something. I
He's
think
from here.
yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
Is he
we'll
the
see
new
him
like
soon.
Richie Sambora, or am I confusing?
He
my
took over
yeah.
for Richie. Yeah,
Okay, Richie was like an OG. Okay,
yeah.
And he was like, just chill out. He was like, this
Yeah,
stage is just.
I
a-
was.
Yeah, go.
I was back there, and he was standing there, and then he. I think I asked him if he had any advice because I just was like so nervous. So I just said how nervous I was and how stressed I was, and asked if he had any advice, and he just like gazes up, just with his long flowing
Yeah.
lock
Right.
of hair,
Right.
and he just looks up at the stage. He says, "It's just another field to frolic in."
Oh!
Really? Is that the words on tattooed on Vanessa's arm?
We should get that. That is a good life, like a life
That's
mantra.
true.
Like, you know, like every stage.
I thought he was gonna look in the eye and say, "You were born to be my baby." What is written? What is typed? What is tattooed? What is tattooed on your arm, Vanessa? Yeah,
This says
these are words, right?
It says so she set herself free.
Okay, what does that mean exactly? Who is this person?
This is just.
It's just a city in Russia.
No, what?
Oh, the Sochi is where they had the Olympics. So.
So she.
That's an
Oh, I
interesting-
see. You needed no comment there. Okay.
So she.
So
she.
The girl
I'm sorry.
set herself free. No worries.
She
As a
was
result,
herself free.
henceforth,
Yeah, it's just something I saw written years and years ago, and as I progressed on my path to sobriety, I was like, one day I want to.
Oh, wait a minute. You just said sobriety. Okay, because there's 3 beers.
I'm going to drink all these fucking beers.
So let's talk about this. So the first thing I need to know, David, do you have any ink on you? Are you tattooed at all?
I am not. I am
I'm not either.
way too indecisive
really?
to commit.
I have no ink on me.
But
I'm
we're
waiting
gonna-
for a tattoo sponsor, and then I'll do it. But
Oh my God.
okay.
We're going to get best friend tattoos.
When
though,
you guys
right?
start your podcast and you get an ink a tattoo
a tattoo sponsor.
then David will get one done maybe. Can I ask you about your sobriety? And then I know we have a hard stop, but we're going to cover a lot of ground
Yeah,
here.
no
But
worries.
how long have you been sober for?
4.5 years.
So yeah, I really this is
Thank
I did a
you.
bit of homework, but not enough clearly because I gave you a bunch of gluten.
I was gonna
and
say
alcohol.
when we were talking
Well, I'm
about
glad
the
we're talking
sponsors
about this
stuff,
because
but
Vanessa.
she'll eat the lasagna probably.
Hey, I'll eat
So
those.
here's how it's gonna work. So David can't have any of this. Well,
I
he's
mean,
got his-
fine. I'll drink that beer. Give me that beer.
Really?
No.
No, he's gonna get sick. I don't want to get sick.
He's not going to get
I would just
sick.
yeah.
It's not worth the risk. Okay, if he's gluten intolerant, he shouldn't
But
have
our
beer.
band will drink this. The rest of our band members will drink it.
Okay,
He's gonna lug it around. Our next show is not for like 6 weeks.
We'll bring it to our next show.
I'll bring it to your next show.
Yeah, we'll
Where
bring
is your
it to
next
the
show?
Horseshoe. Bring it to the Horseshoe.
Oh
We
my
can have
God!
this in the
I'll
green
bike
room.
over Great Lakes beer to the Horseshoe for the band. Who can have
yes.
it? Yeah, I will. If I don't know how the Horseshoe will feel about that, but don't the bands drink for free anyways at the Horseshoe? The band?
That's an authentic laugh. Okay, that was authentic.
No,
Wow.
only in the movies, I
I'm
guess.
sorry.
I mean, yeah, you know the we're not. I mean,
That was a big laugh.
The band, yeah, craft services at the ACC for Bon Jovi were quite impressive.
Oh my God.
You didn't
they
have to
had
pay for
a
that.
But
smoothie
until-
station.
yeah. Anyways,
I realize I want to talk to you about this crazy Canadian music infrastructure.
Are you a Gemini?
No.
Really?
Should I be?
No, I'm just like so curious because like
I'm not a Gemini.
we're very okay. Hold on, just like and we have one more.
You get one more guess. If it's wrong, it's all bullshit anyways. I said nothing matters. That really doesn't matter. But like you get one more guess, and then I have some questions for you. I want to ask you about somebody you worked with previously.
Pisces.
No.
Fuck.
0 for 2 you're out. All right. I do want to ask you.
Yes.
Because he's an FOTM. Do you know what FOTM stands for? It means friend of Toronto Mike. You guys are both FOTMs now.
I did
so
not.
welcome to the club.
think
Well,
that's
thank
what
you.
I was gonna be.
You're an
Thank you so much.
FOTM. Another FOTM is Noah Mintz. Can I just ask you about your experience? Did you actually, I don't know, is it all digital now where you just send him stuff and he masters
long
it?
ago.
Like, I know.
Uh,
any Noah Mintz memories? If not, it's okay.
not really, because we didn't really have that much interaction. He did master our first album in 2013. So I did meet him because I went in because I'm always. Along the way, I've always been curious to learn as much as I can about the whole production process. So anytime we're working with a producer or a mixer or the mastering part, I always want to go meet the person and learn about the process. So I had gone into Lacquer Channel and met him, and then was like, and then there wasn't really anything for me to do because I still don't understand how mastering works.
Well, but I don't know what mastering is either, except he's the master of mastering
Yeah.
in this marketplace.
Yeah, he
Like,
is definitely a very well-known name.
even like Broken Social Scene and a whole bunch of stuff, obviously. But he's got the in there from Head. Do you guys remember Head?
Yes, only because I know that he was in it.
You
but
need
that's all.
a second H on Head here.
Mhm.
But here, can I ask you about this? I hope Vanessa doesn't get mad at me. But
I love this song.
Oh,
good.
finally.
Because I feel like I dodged a
Awesome.
bullet there.
This is what my probably
Huh?
close to my favorite song off the new album.
It's hard to catch a break.
Yeah, this is one we're very, very proud of.
Every swing feels like a miss. Is anyone even listening these days? Everyone's a flame, and I'm just over it. All those times they told me no. You said stop, but I heard go. I'm
great song.
Wait for it. Okay, Vanessa, can you critique your singing on this song?
I mean, it's definitely improvement. I mean, I feel I've improved so much since then. I actually, when I recorded that song, I remember the hard parts were really hard to sing live. Like, I was like, fuck, how am I going to sing them live? But now it's such a breeze that I guess that's, yeah, I'm actually going to take this moment to be like, wow, working
You
with
should be proud of yourselves.
Yeah.
You guys sound great.
Oh,
Do you think
thanks.
you're in Toronto Mike's basement because you're a shitty band?
Well,
Do you think I have shitty bands over here?
no, you have such high standards. I'm shocked that you even returned our DMs.
Well, I think I initiated the DMs. I slid into your DM first, as I recall.
It's honestly the biggest compliment.
We are honored.
Even though I've never seen I want Beef to send me that picture. If Beef's listening.
We'll track.
I
We'll
wonder
track
if it's
down that.
because he starts beef.
Maybe.
I feel like that-
I should remember the story. I asked
That
him
nickname
question.
probably was given to him long before the saying "starting beef"
Right.
was
Right.
That's
He's
a really
right.
good point.
created.
Yeah.
I'm thinking late 70s for the nickname Beef.
Wow.
How old is Lee? Can you tell us? We've
Older than us.
It's like our mystery. Like
He's,
we,
he's a legend. Like, if you look, I mean, I mentioned, Chum FM and I mentioned Q107, and I think he worked at CFNY for a bit, and he's been all over the place, man. And now he's at The Rock.
Yeah. In all honesty, he's been one of the oldest, most biggest supporters of
Yeah.
ours.
Amazing.
Really, he really has done so much for us. A lot of it just being in the form of genuine encouragement.
It's
He's
so
really,
true.
he's really been awesome.
And he's a sweetheart. And
Yeah.
Yes.
not all FOTMs are sweethearts, but he is definitely a sweetheart. Okay, so May 2018, you open up for Bon Jovi. That's amazing. Your moms are there. It's Mother's Day. Paul is there. Is that the last time he played with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was it.
That
so
was it. That was-
after that, everything changes. It's like you guys are the two co-owners of Goodnight Sunrise, comma and all. And when you need other musicians, you just hire them to pay as you go kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
And we never thought, we were always like, no, eventually we'll find like a full-time members. But once we started getting in the groove, I mean, there's a lot of annoying things about playing with session musicians. Like, it's just hard, right? Like, you're switching people around. You got to train people. Like, it's kind of unstable, but we've fallen into a good rhythm now. And it's, you know what? Honestly, the best part of it is just less people to have to agree on.
Less cooks in the kitchen.
Less cooks. And me and David can
You
barely
guys are the
agree.
decision makers.
Yeah.
Even though you might argue a lot, you
Exactly.
usually reach a consensus fairly quickly because I think you get each other.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
That'll be your next tattoo.
David, we got to get matching like Goodnight Sunrise tattoos.
No, thank you.
If you guys did that, Goodnight. One of you gets Goodnight, one of you gets Sunrise.
Right?
I'll get the comma.
Oh my
That's my
God.
my promise.
Nice.
I
Okay.
love
Guys.
this.
I don't know where I'm going to
I
stick
keep
that
hitting this
comma. Hit the table all you want. That's why you get the unidirectional mics here. Okay.
Oh, wow,
So,
that's
Holy,
really
we've
resonated.
covered so
Yeah, that was-
much.
now you broke everything. Okay, now you owe me. Okay. So, where do we go from there? That's 2018.
Yeah.
We're not far now, but maybe you guys walk me through. Like, at some point, we're going to hit
Please.
we're going to hit a
So-
pandemic.
Like so much
like,
has
over-
happened.
yeah, like, over the-
2018, we're
Okay,
like
we'll
little
talk.
babies.
Over the subsequent couple years, we just started doing like a couple singles at a time, and because we had recorded an album, our second album in 2016, and then we were just kind of experimenting, working with different people, working
Right.
with different session players, writing different kinds of songs, like writing stuff more poppy, writing stuff more alternative, and just like playing around and learning more about it and getting slowly getting
Finding
better.
ourselves. We were like teenagers trying to find our identities and kind of like copying everyone else, trying to find ourselves. Like I did a lot, like when
I
I
wouldn't say
think
copy, but
No,
being
but-
inspired by, for sure.
being inspired, but I will say for sure, I was definitely trying too hard. And I think this is a pattern I've had since I was a teenager. Like not anymore, but of like being like, I want to like wear the same clothes other people are wearing. Like I think I was doing that with music.
Yeah,
Like,
everyone wants to fit in.
exactly. And that was such a learning lesson because with this new album, we were like, fuck that. We're finally making what we want.
Right.
But that's why I'm kind of embarrassed maybe about some of the old stuff. Like, especially don't want it to end.
But it's a
and
journey.
ways-
Like you
It
can't
is a
get
journey.
here from there without walking
You're
through
right.
that path. Like
You're
that's how you
right.
got here. Like you should own it.
You
I
know,
also
and you're right.
I also feel like our albums, like both albums, even our first one, where you like I listen to it and I'm like, oh man, my voice sounds like shit. But I don't feel like with our second album, or even with the singles that we played around with after, like they're a different sound and they're very alternative, and like we were looking for specific sounds, but I don't feel like we did anything that wasn't genuine. Like I think all of our songs that we've written still felt authentic and meaningful and true to ourselves. But I think in terms of the production, we were definitely chasing what is popular on the radio because we wanted to get on the radio. So
But
I think
that's
it's
fair too. I think you're right, but I think it's that fine line that everyone talks about of like, when are you being inspired by, and when do you feel like you're inauthentically copying? And I think you're right. Actually, I think I'm giving myself not enough credit. I think I was copying more than I was actually like. No, I really love Florence and the Machine right now, and like I want those sounds, or like I really want those little rave noises, not because I'm copying, but because I like them. So
yeah.
You're right, and I will never say those two words again.
I recorded that. You can make that your ringtone, although his ringtone never rings.
Exactly.
Heyo.
Exactly.
It's true. I always have it on silent.
So annoying. I had to call him like 4 times to be like, "Where are you?"
And I made it.
What is this?
Yeah, you don't know. See, again, they're all jumbled up. I normally go in chronological order, but
I love it. I know what this is.
I don't even know
can
what it is.
Vanessa name this tune?
No. And there's going to be a good reason for it.
Oh, that's not Vanessa's voice.
Is this the other fucking Goodnight Sunrise? How did you find this?
So, okay, so talk to me about this. I had never played. I had these all loaded
How
up.
did you
and,
know what it was?
Well, because
he's probably Googled himself.
It was no, it was
YouTube. No.
Yeah, it was.
This is the biggest fucking pain in our ass.
Okay, well, tell me what's going on here.
No, in
there's
terms
another
of social media handles.
So,
oh, sure, a little bit.
so this is another band, nothing to do with you guys.
This
called
is a
Goodnight
band-
Sunrise.
Where are they from? They're from somewhere in the states, like
middle America. No,
Montana. I think?
Montana.
Yeah.
Okay, let me hear a bit of them. Hold on. Make sure they're not better than you. Hold on.
That was pretty good. I'm into it.
Yeah, they were like really at the height
Fuck
of emo.
these guys. Who had the name first?
Well, they did. I think that was another reason why we kept the comma in, because we were like, okay, that makes us distinct from this other
But
band.
why did we pick the same band name as someone else?
So,
Did we not know?
No, I think we knew, but I think also this was like very early,
This was like MySpace times.
just after MySpace times, and I think it was. But yeah, it was definitely before Spotify, so it was before like it really, really mattered,
Right.
and before you could know what every single band in the world's band name was, like before every single person could very easily just get their music up online. So
Whoa,
yeah,
this makes us sound like we're 2,000 years old.
well, you know,
Okay, so 2013, when you name yourselves, at that
these
time,
guys aren't on TikTok.
you don't know that there's a band in America
No.
named Goodnight
I
Sunrise.
had looked at when we all finally
like
agreed
a
that we
lawyer, I
liked the
need-
name. Yeah, I think I looked up and I saw that this band had existed, but they were not very active, and it seemed like actually they had broken up or they were on hiatus. So then I thought, okay, we're cool. There's not a big conflict because they are not very active. And then they ended up changing their name to The Goodnight.
How crazy is that?
Oh.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, great.
Maybe they changed their name because of this Toronto
they found,
That's what we were
band,
wondering.
Goodnight
out,
Sunshine.
and they're
It's
like,
possible.
whoa.
I have a
these-
T-shirt of theirs. Our drummer Paul bought me the Goodnight T-shirt.
Yeah.
We got in touch with them even, remember?
I think we can't remember for what reason, but
we were like, we should play a show together. And they were like,
Yeah.
who are
Like,
you?
why?
Also, we're breaking up. Like, we don't care.
Wow. Okay, that's another wrinkle
Yeah.
to the story.
But
so,
they
But yeah, 'cause
opened they
for Bon Jovi.
No, they opened an Instagram. Like I think it was just an Instagram. Like they have someone has the fucking Goodnight Sunrise Instagram account, and we cannot get it. It's inactive. There's no followers.
And you've DM'd it and said, hey. And
We've
then
DM'd it.
Oh,
We've
you had it
contacted
all.
Instagram. We've done it all.
Why no anyone? Oh, that's a Meta company, right? Okay.
Like
Meta.
someone get us Goodnight Sunrise.
Yeah, I used to have a connection at Twitter, but I don't have a connection at Meta, and even my connection at Twitter got musked. So I'm kind of that's another story for another day.
we
All
long
right, fuck
gave
this
up
Goodnight
on
Sunrise. But here,
Yeah.
I will. This one I know is you. So that one there, yeah, okay, whatever. They're Americans, Goodnight Sunrise, but this is the real motherfucking deal right here.
Oh yeah.
One pill to make you stronger. One pill to wear you out. One pill to make you wonder.
I'm so fucking digging it. Way better than that shitty American Goodnight Sunrise.
We have to shout out Brian Moncars for that because and Lee told us that Lee actually
there we
Beef,
go.
good old Beefy Beef. He's the one who introduced us to the producer of this album, Brian Moncars. And Beef said, I can't do that seriously. He was like, you guys need, and we've always known this, we need someone to help us translate our live show because our live show is so high in energy. He was like, this guy's gonna help you bring that live energy to your recording, and fuck, he did. This album finally, I think, is our first. This has been for 10 years we've been chasing that energy.
So is this like your pandemic album? Is this okay.
Yeah.
And bookended by this song because we recorded this with Brian and
March 2020.
We were in the studio finishing it up early March 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and then he mixed it like after the first lockdown. And then I was just listening here, like some of the those gang vocals.
Yeah,
we did them remotely, and then like we just tracked a bunch of them in our living room and sent them to him to mix in.
Well, good production job. Who is the bassist on this jam?
The bassist on this jam is an up-and-coming young whippersnapper named Duncan Coots of Our Lady Peace.
Well, I was gonna say, and the drummer too.
And the drummer is Jason Pierce, also of Our Lady Peace.
Our Lady Peace are hoping one day they'll get some radio play. They're crossing their fingers and hoping radio discovers them.
Radio is dead, so give it up, boys.
All right, that's where we're going next. Okay, so
God.
so that's One Pill.
Yeah.
And what's the name of it? Is that your most recent album?
Yes.
One Pill is track 1 on our album Against All Odds. So Against All Odds came out in October of last year.
Okay.
And we put One Pill out as the lead single in like February of 22.
Did you cover Take a Look at Me Now?
Not yet, but
because that's a good Phil Collins
sure,
song.
it's a jam.
Yeah, you could add your little style to it.
Would we do?
We've never thought about it, but there's a way we could rock that up. We could probably like put that in a
song's
song.
begging for like a rock spin. It's just sitting there waiting for you. And you did name your album Against All Odds.
We did.
Vanessa, what are your thoughts on this?
Just to see if we could start beef with Phil.
Well, I just was
Phil.
like, if we're talking about Phil Collins, I'm like, that is not the song I would cover. Like, I would obviously.
I know, but you did name your album Against All Odds. But what song by Phil Collins would you cover?
Oh, think twice. It's just another day for. I did a lip sync to that in grade 2.
Grade 2?
Yeah. I distinctly remember this. I don't think I had any.
That was a socially conscious song.
It was, and it's such a long song. Like, there's like a lot of verses. The story like goes on and on. But I remember that.
Right. Okay.
She walks out to the. Yeah. I guess.
You always knew you were destined to be a performer, I guess. Grade 2. What was I doing?
These OLP guys, that's amazing, you know?
Again, thanks to Brian.
Yeah, Brian has done
Moncars.
He's done a bunch of work with OLP, like he mixed a bunch of their recent stuff, and so he had become friends with Duncan and Jason, and so to start, he would start. So because we had been working with a few session players for our previous tours, and we had like played around with different players for previous recordings, but then we were chatting with him and we were strategizing how to get this like rock sound that we were shooting for. He suggested
that was a big sound. Like, okay, so now I want to talk about radio, and I know you said radio's dead. I really want to get into this.
We're really trying to keep it positive today here, Mike.
But I'm here. This is the home of the real talk. There's no room for positivity. So
David was like, "We got to be. Let's not talk about radio or the industry."
I really do want the truth. Like you said, does radio matter? Like, are you still chasing those radio plays?
Everything matters and nothing matters. Everyone thinks they got all the answers, and all the answers are wrong. And then all you could do is just keep
you're not
trying.
asking the right questions.
Oh my god!
What are those balloons?
Oh my fucking god! David's like worked up. I don't even have to say anything. Like, are you? Okay.
What was the question again? I forget.
So let me be specific. There is an alt rock station in town called Indie 88.
Mm-hmm. I listen to it often.
Indie 88 should be playing One Pill on the reg. That's a. You would refer to yourselves as a Toronto. Vanessa's muzzling herself. You're a Toronto band.
We do live here and have lived here our whole lives.
What neighborhoods are you guys coming from?
Oh my god.
I don't need an address or anything. But like what
I'm an
neighborhood?
uptown young.
She's an uptown girl, and she's living in a downtown world in a South Etobicoke.
Yes.
I live in uptown Toronto.
I'm like downtowny.
So you're down. How far down are you?
I just moved recently to I don't even know what the neighborhood's called.
I think you live near Cabbagetown.
Yeah, ish.
We don't want to tell people where you live.
Well,
though.
no, that's
it's
very
not gonna say,
generic.
like,
no one's
yeah.
asking for like
Postal
street
codes?
names.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting close.
No neighborhoods.
The first
She always been paranoid.
Yeah,
I
I'm
used to
very
live in
paranoid.
Do you
Little
think someone's
Italy.
gonna come and kidnap you?
Yeah, I mean that's a general.
Have you been watching the news?
Someone broke in at
Used
the
to
beginning of this recording. We heard
Yeah.
someone break in upstairs,
I just-
and I
Yeah.
didn't even flinch. I'm like, well, help yourself.
I don't want to get into why you probably didn't flinch, Mike. But the point is, we are different people.
Yeah, they're being respectful of the interview. They're gonna let us finish the interview before they kidnap
They're
us.
just waiting.
They're going for
For
the
us to wrap
lasagna.
up.
They're like, we're
They're
just
like-
gonna.
If I find out that lasagna is gone, I can't
Any
believe
press
you're-
is good
I
press.
can't believe I was trying to give lasagna to a guy who can't have gluten. I'm an
I'll eat it.
asshole.
Like,
and then
I'll
I gave beer
probably
to
eat it. I'll have a
person
bite
in
at least.
recovery. Oh my goodness gracious!
I'm sure Palma's makes a killer lasagna.
God, no, they're killers of our community.
Yeah,
killers
exactly.
of the community. So, quickly then, before I forget, then I'm going to come back to this, and then I know we have the hard stop. But do you guys smoke weed?
Eh.
Are you allergic to cannabis?
I'm not allergic. Yeah, on occasion.
Like on okay, like my only time I really like smoking weed is when we're at NAM once a year in Anaheim. When we go to NAM, and we're
when you were in NAM, I'm like, how old are you?
when we, like what I'll go maybe like smoke weed after we're playing a show before we see another band, but things can go sideways and I might need ice cream like immediately and a bed. So like
Peanut
unless
butter and chocolate.
yeah, peanut butter unless I have immediate access to a bed, like walk away, I'm not smoking weed.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to smoke it. There's edibles and there's
No,
you
like
can
same
drink it,
thing.
and and so. Those who do partake, I just want to let them know that Canna Cabana will not be undersold on cannabis or cannabis accessories. Shout out to cannacabana.com. And real quick about your your tech. You probably have a lot of tech in your home. I don't know, for recording or for everything. You probably have an 8-track player. I don't know. But what you got going on when it dies, when that tech dies, your old smartphones, whatever, don't throw it in the garbage. This is me telling you, go to recyclemyelectronics.ca and find out where you can bring it to be safely recycled. There's a lot of chemicals and dangerous stuff in that tech, and I don't want it in the landfill. Do you understand?
This is very valuable. I have at least one small box of old crap that I have not thrown out
So where
because
do
I
you-
want to be responsible, but I don't know how to do so.
Recyclemyelectronics.
What does he do?
.ca.
Oh, you just go to the website.
They have accredited places that they verified and checked with that they're actually going to properly. There's a lot of garbage in that tech that cannot. And garbage. Well, we don't want it in the garbage, but there's you got to safely recycle that. So thank you, EPRA, and recyclemyelectronics.ca is where you go. So just to wrap up that radio thing here, I'm not trying to get anyone upset here,
We
but
didn't
back in
even
the
say
day, the idea was back in the day was you wanted your song on the radio because that would give you more fans who would buy your, first of all, this is back in the day when you might have a physical piece of media to buy or whatever, and you can make money on album sales, but they might buy your album, or more importantly, go to your concert and buy a t-shirt or whatnot. So is it no longer, how has it been for you guys trying to get radio play? Is it frustrating? I mentioned Indie 88, but I could have also mentioned 102.1. We have 2 stations in this market that should be playing Goodnight Sunrise without the comma.
Let me say this tactfully. Unless, do you want to say
No,
something?
go ahead. I'm curious now to see how you were going to pull that off.
I will say this.
Just never heard you tactful.
I do all of our radio tracking. Okay, so since day one, I have done I do all our submissions. I get in touch with all the music directors.
Which is radio tracking is radio promotion for those in the audience who might not be familiar with the industry lingo.
I love it. Keep going.
I will say there is a marked difference between, let's call it 2017. Actually, this is really good because the throwback, you played Remember Now. So let's say 2017-ish, when we had Remember Now, which is a good track. It's fine. Like it's okay. It's okay. But at that point, when I was doing my radio tracking, I got so many bites. There were lots of music directors around Canada saying, hey, listen, like, we're totally following you. We're down to play your stuff. Like we're kind of waiting for the one, but like I even got a bunch of spins on Remember Now. Fast forward to 2023 where we have arguably not arguably, we have for sure our best stuff. And now the climate has changed so much that most of these radio stations and the connections I've made, you know this, most stations are owned by Rogers or Bell Media or Chorus, right? So now there's like, it's just basically like imagine any business going from a small business to a business with a head office where the people at the business aren't allowed to make the decision. So it's very different. So I don't want to get into the whole nitty gritty of it.
It's corporate.
It's corporate and also
and it's
like
cookie cut. Do you think like because they have the same kind of stations throughout the country that they're all playing the same like
you know what I think it is?
playlist instead? Like because back
That
in the
is
day,
the case.
102.1.
Yes.
Back in the day when they had their music committee and stuff, wanted to break new. I'm thinking of two bands particularly that are just jumping in the top
Who?
of my head. One is the Bare Naked Ladies. Okay, we're going way back here, obviously, and the other is Lowest of the Low. Okay, which
Oh my
actually ends every
God.
episode of Toronto Mic'd. We're gonna hear
Shut
every
up.
episode.
Wait till you hear our Lowest of the Low story. I apologize to Ron Hawkins again.
I want your Lowest of the Low story because Lowest of the Low are the reason I got introduced to Altered by Mom.
Yes. Oh,
And we had the same radio chat, okay? Like, because they're pushing a new single now, and like we're now basically talking. Although you're trying to be tactful, I say tactful is for the weak of heart. Just go for the jugular here. These local stations, although Indie 88 is not owned by Chorus, Rogers, or Bell, they a smaller outfit owns them, but they really shouldn't be the same cookie cutter playlist across the country. Like there should be some favoritism, if you will, for people in your own backyard that are producing music.
Okay,
like,
but don't you think
There's a lot of different factors.
I think the biggest factor, honestly, if I had to, is no one wants to take a risk anymore. Like I really think that's the biggest thing is, I'm sorry, but nepotism and no one wants to take a risk. So it's like, and
wait, what's the nepotism though?
okay, wait, hold on. So it's like, I would
Like
say
who you know.
it's
Like
who
knowing
you
the right
know.
person.
It's who you
Okay.
know. It's people doing favors for their
Like
friends. It's
our
no
whole
one wants to
band,
take,
we are the entire band. We don't currently have a manager or a label or anything, and like so many opportunities in wherever someone can be exposed to a potentially new fan. You only get that if you know the person who makes the call. Like there is a
Very
lot of
frequently.
gatekeeping.
And also, finally, I will say just the supply and demand. Like there is so much more music available now. People can produce so much easier. Like, you know, there's so much. So I think those three factors are like when we wrote Against All Odds, and that was not that long ago, we were like, we're going to make an album that is ready for rock radio.
Right.
By the time
And it
that
sounded
album,
like it in my headphones.
it is. I'm not like, whatever. I'm not, I don't want to be like, oh my God, our album's so good. No, that's not the point. But the point is by the time that album was released, there was no longer a chance really of an independent band breaking on rock radio. That's just not how it works anymore.
Okay, so let me ask about other FOTMs like Mono Whales, for example. Are Mono Whales an independent band?
Mono Whales got their first hit their first radio hit came out. They had a radio tracker, #1, and they're awesome. Fucking love Mono Whales. Great music. It was in 2019 or 2020 that Really Want to Let You Down charted. It was during
I can't
COVID.
remember.
It was during COVID.
That was
Okay.
before.
It was right before COVID, right?
Yeah.
I only bring them up because that's a modern rock band that's coming out of this market and they're up and coming kind of whatever, and they seem to get radio play. Like
They are awesome and they
Yeah,
did, but that is a rare success
extremely
story.
rare.
That's like
It's
an
a rare-
outlier.
like we're all talking about Mono Whales, right? Everyone's kind of like, oh my God, but Mono Whales did it. And good for them for talking about this. They keep saying this. They are one of the only independent bands who's been able to do that.
Yeah,
They're
it's
the
very
unicorn.
homogenous, and there is a lot of like playlists being sent down from above. So like Vanessa hears from a lot of MDs, music directors, who say like, song is awesome. I really would love to play it on the radio, but I can't fit it in anywhere. And then we also know like pre-pandemic there was tons of stations across the country who would have, even if it was just like 11 p.m. on a Monday night, you would still have the indie hour where they would play, and then that's now a fraction. There's a couple stations across the country that still do it, but like most of them, and like
Also,
I think
all of
like
these
Y108, I remember there was there was like Nick Chino was the announcer who would play, I think it was Sunday nights or Monday nights, and there was always the indie hour, and then I think, and I can't remember the details, but he was like, oh, and then that hour didn't exist anymore, and those
also,
kinds of opportunities, even just to have someone, because, and it would make a difference, like, so like 94.9 The Rock, they still do that kind of stuff, and they create an opportunity. So like when they play one of our new songs a few times a week, then like someone hears it, and if they dig it, they Shazam it, and then they follow us and then become a fan. Like it really makes a difference.
And they'll be at the Horseshoe possibly
March 31st.
So March
Exactly.
31st, that's the next like scheduled live gig for you guys. March
in
31st.
our dear city, Toronto, that loves us so much. Our favorite.
Well,
place
maybe
to
some
spend.
FOTMs listening now are going to be like,
I
I'm going to
hope-
support these guys.
Come
at
on
the,
out if
the
you like-
Horseshoe. And I feel it. I feel for you because you're doing it all. I root for you hard because you're independent artists who are rolling your own and doing your best, and you're just like swimming upstream. It's got to be tough. I mean, I know how corporatized radio is now, and it's like,
I think our biggest hesitation to be complaining and to get like to seem cynical about it is because it's so easy to, like, we don't want people to think that we like feel entitled to some sort of success or something, or that we think that we're amazing and like
I hear
people
you.
are holding us back.
also you don't want to piss off these people because
Well,
they
that
are
I don't
listening.
care
And
about.
that
So you
part
don't
we've
care
kind of
about
given
That
up.
part
Like for a
is-
long time we
With the
did it,
sale.
but it's like
No, it's more what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
like,
more. I think it's just like you as a person have told us that you love this song we made, and you think that it's good enough to have a shot on radio, and that's kind of all we're asking from whatever opportunities. And like it for a long time it was just radio itself, and then it's shifted. Now the importance is on streaming and getting on playlists, and like that's so hard to crack into.
Okay, so let's before I get to the Ron Hawkins.
You made
story.
us talk about this.
But yes, okay. So here we are,
Yeah.
2023, right? You work hard on your new music. You got OLP. By the way, the original drummer's an FOTM as well, Jeremy Taggart. So shout out to Jeremy
I think
Taggart.
he's a friend of the whole country.
He's a bod, as they say.
Indeed.
Oh my god.
All right. So here we are, 2023. We just discussed the frustration trying to get on Canadian radio. We don't have the nation's music station anymore. Back in, you can't be like Mo Berg dropping off a VHS cassette of "I'm an Adult Now" filmed at the
wow.
at the parking lot at Queen and Spadina, and getting that on high rotation across the country, where people like me were literally drinking it in on the daily. So you don't have much music. Radio, we just talked about
God, I'm
that
getting so
frustration. I know,
stressed.
don't get stressed out. So I legit want to know like why you haven't just quit your jobs and become like I don't know, like plumbers or whatever. Like what is the path? Like what is the goal? Like I know we jokingly said nothing matters, and maybe nothing matters, but is it just for the art? Like, or do you still have a grandiose dreams that this is going to make a living for you?
I mean, like,
And I don't mean to sound so downer. I sound like a fucking
it's.
downer.
I am really stressed. So I'm like, oh
No,
my
we
God, fuck.
we ask this question of ourselves all the time over the years.
But like, nothing brings me more joy than getting on stage with my pal, my best friend,
Aw.
and fucking just rocking out and singing these songs that you've
Amazing.
made and creating those moments for people. I just like really nothing is more fun. So I think like when we get this down, which I'm feeling right now actually after this conversation, we know that what we have to do is either create, like it's like making a song together, that arts and crafts of it is so fun, or every time we play a show we're reminded of why we're doing all this admin, which is
Right.
really what it is. It's
Yeah.
admin work. So it's
Right.
like and our goal
And you can't
is,
afford to outsource it because it's a chicken and egg thing.
well, and it's not even an afford. Again, this is a supply and demand. Like there are only so many booking agents. There are only so many men. Like there are like 5 radio trackers in this country. 5 reputable ones. Like
Wow.
that's not
See, I
enough.
had no idea.
It's like so. It's like our goals are to one day not have to do that admin. But like what keeps us going is like what makes us happier.
Yeah. I mean, we really do talk about this all the time, and like it is easy to get down about it. But I mean, just as a recent example, and I've been trying to change my attitude about it. But a recent example, we just played a festival in Prince George,
my God.
British Columbia,
The best.
which was like
Amazing.
way up north.
Well,
and
that's the hub, right? They say that's the geographical center of British Columbia. I think that's the hub. I think that's its claim to fame, anyway.
could be.
I think so. Like I think I heard that from a
'cause
resident
it is like
once.
okay, all right. Well, why would they lie to you?
Yeah, like I think yeah.
Yeah. So we played. So it's a very small town. So we played Cold Snap Festival in Prince George, and after the show, like the show's amazing. We had so much fun, and then like the people in the audience had so much fun. And then we had gone over to the merch table after, and then one guy came up to us and had bought a CD, and then just wanted to like say that he really liked the show. And then I guess he was like a little bit nervous, but then so we were just chatting a little bit, and he had said to me that he really loved our show and he found our music and our performance really uplifting, and that he had a really, really difficult year. The last year has been really tough, like a full year, and he had not really felt like he hadn't had as much fun in like a year as he had that night because of being at our show. And so to know that we had that effect on a person and brought someone joy while also experiencing joy ourselves is ultimately the main reason why we do this.
Like, what else is life about? Like,
Love it.
how much better can it get?
Well,
to be
velvet
like-
Def Leppard shirts as well.
Exactly. You gotta be comfortable.
I want my body just covered in velvet.
Just do it. It's so easy. Go to Forever 21. Like literally tracksuits. You're fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I honestly, velvet. Like if
I'm
you
gonna
just-
do that.
You should get that shirt, but in velvet.
I would totally do that. You know, I just heard we're not being robbed now.
Oh my God, what's happening now?
I heard my wife and kids came home. But my wife is a seamstress. Like I feel like
What?
we could go to Fabricland,
Yes.
buy a whole shitload of fucking velvet, and she could make stuff. Like that's what she can do. Well, not her job's not seamstress. That's her her hobby, her passionate side hobby thing is seamstressing. And I think there's a future with me in velvet. And I've been inspired by this Def Leppard shirt I've been staring at.
I'm telling you, once
Amazing.
you wear velvet, you won't go back because it's
Oh
like
my God,
so
like, this
soft.
is George Costanza.
You can just pet yourself.
I didn't know that he was into
Well,
development.
he's in the Gore-Tex, but I feel like
That's
maybe it was
so different. That's a completely different
no,
material.
there's two. I'm trying to think of the episode with Velvet. There is an episode with I think he wants to feel it. Like as if I reached over and Vanessa and felt it. Like there'd
Do
be
you
like,
want to touch it?
well, that's not it.
No, here. Like, don't you want that on your body? Like, it's like you're just like wearing a pet.
You
Oh my
just
God.
cover the walls of the studio with it. You know, velvet could be everywhere.
It's like very comforting when you're feeling stressed to just like pet yourself.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Now I just saw the clock, so I need the Ron Hawkins story, please.
Oh my God! This is
You
my
brought
public.
the-
This is
you
my
brought this
public
on yourself.
apology. This is my
You
literal-
really did actually.
It's a public apology to Ron Hawkins.
Okay. He's a good FOTM. I'm gonna make sure.
Here's
he
what
listens.
happens.
Yeah.
This is fucking forever ago. First of all, forever ago, backtrack to high school. My friend was obsessed with Lois of the Low. Okay. Obsessed, and dragged me to all of their shows. And I was like, ugh, I don't know, like whatever, fine, Ron Hawkins. Cool. Fast forward. This is like maybe 8 years ago. We get off a train. We've played a show in Montreal. And somehow we meet this random guy who's like, I'm doing this thing for Now Magazine. And we're getting bands to like cover songs from some of their favorite bands. Like, and do you want to do Lois of the Low? Like so out of nowhere. And I'm like, that's so weird. Lois of the Low. I actually love fucking, damn the circumstance. Anyways,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, bleed a little while tonight.
Bleed a little while tonight. So I'm like, oh my God, we should do it. Cool. However, because I'm young and innocent, I don't realize this song is not at all in my register. Like literally not at all in my key. But by some complete sheer coincidence, Lois of Low is playing a show at Cadillac Lounge that weekend, a week before we're set to record. I bike down to Cadillac Lounge, and from the audience where I am with my friend who's obsessed with them, I'm like, you should let me on stage to sing like Bleed a Little While. And for some reason, Ron Hawkins is like, okay, like
He's a
come on
sweetheart,
stage.
Yeah.
I get up. I start in the complete wrong octave. Like I'm just in the wrong octave entirely. Like I sound fucking horrible. Okay. And I'm like doing it and I get off stage after and my friend is like, I think like kind of mad too. She's like, why did like, it just was so embarrassing. But that doesn't stop us. We're supposed to record this at like Now Magazine studio that they had, remember? So we go the next week to record it.
Sadly, I do remember.
I do a horrible job.
All of us did.
It was, but like I really did because I was singing it. They posted online, and I mean the comments were
no.
were hateful. They
Oh,
were
no.
they weren't wrong. They
Yeah.
weren't wrong. They were accurate, but it was like a bad scene. And I feel like
I don't know if any of the because they did like 50 of them and they got a bunch of local bands to pick a different Canadian song or something, and then I think eventually they just scrubbed
they
all
took
of them from
down.
the site.
They're not, thankfully, not on the internet. But I
Well,
haven't
the
seen
story of Now is a whole
then-
episode.
yeah,
unto
exactly.
itself, so
And then-
it's all been scrubbed. but,
right.
So maybe we're the only people that benefited from that.
I hope he doesn't remember me.
Well, okay, so I'm not like Ron Hawkins. great friend of the program. He's played a Toronto Mike listener experience, for goodness sakes, with Lawrence Nichols, who I know is listening now. Like, Lawrence doesn't miss a Toronto Mike episode. If he sees Goodnight Sunrise on his smartphone, he's listening right now.
Oh my God,
Hi,
thank you,
Lawrence.
So,
Hi.
and I think the best way to reach Ron Hawkins is through Lawrence.
I don't
I've
know
been
if I
doing this
wanna
forever
reach him.
because Ron's not a smartphone guy. Like, you have to go through
Doesn't
Lawrence.
he tweet? I feel like
No, he Facebooks. He does not tweet. Lawrence does the tweeting.
Oh,
Lawrence. Lawrence does
of
the
Lowest of the Low.
Yeah.
Should we tweet?
Lawrence
Should we
Nichols tweets Lowest
apologize?
Live. Well, this is your opportunity. Lawrence, I can guarantee will hear this, and then hopefully he shares it and gets Ron to listen as well. But yeah, go ahead and apologize here. This is your moment right now, Vanessa.
Dear Ron, your song "Bleed a Little While" is a beautiful masterpiece, and I'm so sorry for butchering it on stage with you, and then again on the internet. I will do better. I now know what my register is, and have been working with a vocal coach. Please give me another chance.
That's a great song. I don't know about your version, but the "Bleed a Little While" tonight is such a great song.
It's so good.
But with the multiple voices and the way they come in and staggered or whatever that musical term is, it's like row, row, row your boat. What's that called, music people?
Oh, it's called Round Robin.
Was that called Round Robin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rob, I think just rounds.
Round Robin is like a sporting tournament where you got to play each team
Yeah.
once and then
Okay.
rounds. Okay.
Ron, I
so the
apologize
rounds-
for messing up the terminology of your harmony
No.
stacks.
It's a showstopper, and you ruined it that night at Cadillac Lounge. But Love Low Slow, I always do that album is Shakespeare in My Butt, and every episode of Toronto Mike closes with Rosie and Gray from Shakespeare in My Butt here. But as we,
I saw Ron do some acoustic tunes a couple months ago with the Elma Combo.
I was there
Well, there we go. Okay.
Did you apologize to him?
because
No, because I didn't butcher a song. Well, actually, I guess I did, but it's scrubbed from the internet.
because I've had Sky Wallace over
Yeah.
here to
Yes.
play the basement. So the
Because
connection is
we are very good friends with Sky and with Gina and Devin of
so
Altered by
Devin,
Mom.
who is working with Ron,
Mm-hmm.
like production work, I guess, with Lois Low. So this is So this is the Inter Circle. So I was there that night because FOTM Roddy Comer invited me to the Elmo for that night that you're describing, and I went to see Ron. But I also saw other acts, including Altered by Mom, and that's why I reached out to Altered by Mom because I heard about they were great that night.
Okay.
And then for some reason, having Altered by Mom, the duo in this basement, and they performed live, and we had this great chat. And I think I came out of that episode saying to myself, I want Goodnight Sunrise.
Why?
That was the germination of this, and then I know we've been working on this for a while, Vanessa, and we finally made it happen. And I'm so glad you guys made the track.
As are we.
This has been a real full circle. I don't know where the circle starts or ends, but I feel like we've been through a lot in this basement.
May the circle be unbroken.
Ooh.
So deep.
I just made that up. No, I didn't. But do you have on
Are
the
we
way
at
out
the
here
end?
before I hit
Okay.
because you guys got to get out of here, right? Where are you going next? That you are giving me the hard stop. Like, where are you going?
I just have a dinner reservation.
Oh, it's a
with
dinner.
friend.
This is a dinner. Fucking. That's seriously. I thought you had like a big gig or
No,
something.
but you know what? I'd canceled on her twice and rescheduled, and I
This
could
must be some
not.
friend. You're like, Toronto Mike, we're out at this time.
Well, we've been here for an hour and a half.
Well, we are wrapping up. But I was going to ask if you had any thoughts at all about the whole John Tory thing, because I have one thought I wanted to share.
Tell us the thought. What do
Okay,
we
here's
have
the thought.
to say?
I don't know.
Is it a
I'm
song?
curious to see how you're going to tie
You're
this into our
citizen.
interview.
No, I don't know how to do that. But I said the last episode of Toronto Mike was with David Ryder about the Toronto Star investigation into the John Tory affair with a staffer, a City Hall staffer in her late 20s. And today I learned, even though John
What?
made a speech on Friday saying he was going to resign, today I learned John Tory wants to
Start a band.
preside over the big budget meeting on Wednesday. And I think for him and his super mayor powers to be leading that meeting on Wednesday with a budget he won't be around for because he's resigning, I think that's an absurd abuse of power and complete bullshit from John Tory. Either get the fuck out of the way.
This whole thing. Can I just say, my friend who I'm going for dinner with has this
It's John
theory.
Tory.
It's not, but we are really desperate for drummers. So John, no, I'm kidding. We would never have him in our band. But
You
she
can't keep the
He
rhythm.
plays drums?
No, but she said she thinks the whole affair with the staffer thing is a lie. And I was like, what? And she was like, no, but I was like, why would someone make that up? And she was like, I think he's fucked up so badly that he's actually using
Tell
that
your
as a
friend
cover-up.
she's wrong.
You
I'm
think?
all over this story
Okay,
with
so
the
it's true.
journalist. It's true. And then he put her in a job at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment,
Oh.
which is 37.5% owned by Rogers.
Oh my
Meanwhile, as mayor of Toronto, John Tory, who's very close to the Rogers family, continues to earn $100,000 a year as an advisor to the Rogers Family Trust. the whole thing smells, and we're just pulling
It's
at a
like
few
the
threads
Canadian
here.
radio industry, very nepotistic. Is that a word? No.
Yeah, it is. Or maybe. Well, I don't know that we're qualified.
We're not qualified.
We have strong opinions about everything, but I don't know that we're qualified to like really comment. But
We're
I think
not.
I think I'll say
What?
I'll say it's good that he's taken accountability for that, but I would like him to take accountability for other major
Kicking homeless people out of
issues
parks.
across the city, because there's a lot of things that we really should be fixing in the city for all of its inhabitants. And
Oh my God,
so
Jacob,
like
you're
this
so
is
sweet.
well, this is
Well, he's
definitely
right.
an
No, he's
indiscretion
right.
and very
Totally.
inappropriate. But like, it would be nice if the whole city made as big a deal about all of the problems with the lack of affordable housing and challenges that people face every day.
And
in
the-
addition to making a big deal of
Consider
this.
this David's official pledge for mayor.
And that
Yeah, wow, bombshell.
Good night, Sunrise for
Area
mayor.
band runs for mayor.
Oh my God, our whole
Yeah.
band. Could we run for mayor as a band?
guys, Andrew
maybe.
Cash is a politician. There's a lot of examples.
but as a band, like the band.
We'll have to figure that this in the charter. If you guys could tag team it, I don't know. But
Now that we got rid of the comma, I think if we still had the comma, they'd be like, no. I think that's against city council rules, probably. No, the punctuation, they just wouldn't be able to. Probably their internal digital systems just would crash.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,203rd show. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at TorontoMike.com. It's beautiful, right?
Rosy and gray.
You guys should play this in your concert. Come on.
And the
And the wind is cold and the smell of snow warms me today. That you guys are
your smile is mine, and it's just like mine, and it won't go away.
GNSR band. Good Night Sunrise band.
Unfortunately, we have a different handle on all of our different
Okay, but
social platforms.
Twitter, it's GNRS. Guns and fucking Roses. No.
GNSR, Good
Right.
Night Sunrise Band. However, Twitter's the platform on which we're the least
Oh, that's the only
active.
one I'm on. Okay,
Well, maybe
what else
if
we
you
got?
get, it's just people know. I don't know.
What's your Instagram?
Instagram, Good Night Sunrise Band.
Okay, Good Night Sunrise
Facebook,
band.
we are also GNSR Band. And we are on TikTok. And we're going to go viral any day now. And on that, we are Good Night Sunrise.
Our friends at Great Lakes Brewery are at Great Lakes Beer on Twitter. Palma Pasta's at Palma Pasta. Recycle My Electronics are at EPRA_Canada. Ridley Funeral Home are at Ridley FH. And Canna Cabana are at Canna Cabana _ See you all. I want to get this right as we close up here. See you tomorrow.
This one's for you, Ron.
See you Wednesday when Chris Finn and Blair Packham are my special guests. See you then.